Hey everybody. So today I wanted to do a video specifically talking about going full-time or living full-time. And I wanted to kind of address a few things that I personally experienced. Everybody's experience is different. Some people do it immediately, some people wait even longer than I did, and there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's when you feel comfortable. But I just wanted to talk about my experiences with going full time and socially transitioning and, how I went about that and everything. So, before I get started, if you're new here, feel free to like and subscribe. I try to post a lot of videos about transitioning and, upcoming things that are going on in my life, like surgeries and stuff. So, without further ado, let's get started. So the first thing is, you know, you're just starting your transition and there's a process. So you generally have to come out to people. Most people come out to their really close friends or family. Some people are more open about it and want to come out on Facebook and just let everybody know, or just a few people know, whatever makes you comfortable. For me, I came out to a few of my coworkers, people who I saw every day. So, if I were going through changes, they would notice. And I felt like to save an awkward experience of, like, well, why is your hair getting longer? Or like, why are you starting to wear different colors? And why are you starting to wear makeup? Whatever. I told a few people who, I felt it was necessary to share that with. And I also shared it with my close family, my brother, my mom, my dad, stuff like that. And that's a whole other video on its own because people that you tell can react one of two ways. They can either be completely accepting or just never talk to you again. And we all experience that in our own way. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's some people just aren't okay with change and they may come around later, they may not, but whatever, you know, expect it to not be perfect. And so once you come out to people, um, generally you start hormones either before or after. Um, and there's quite a few changes with that. And so you start to experience, body changes. Like for me, and I'm going to do a whole other video on this, so be prepared for that. I had a little more fat distribution and shapeliness to me. So like my butt got bigger, my hips got wider, my waist got thinner. Like all my fat that was in my midsection had started to kind of move down. I still retain a lot of muscle. As you can tell, I was very fit as a boy. But for the most part, like most of my muscles gone. This was like out to here, like big pack muscles. And now it's just like more on the slimmer side. My skin is so much softer. I don't really wear a lot of makeup. So what you see is like natural. I generally only do my eyes and my eyebrows. Sometimes I wear a little bit of concealer for like contouring effects. Like I'll make my nose a little smaller or like, cover up my bags in the morning, whatever that may be. But your skin is generally much better on estrogen. And, that may vary depending on person. But for me, I've gained a lot of, you know, soft skin and prettier features and stuff due to hormones. And your body hair changes. And so as you do this, people start noticing. So if you haven't, come out to them, it's probably a good time to tell them, like, hey, this is why that's happening. You also start growing breasts, and those are very noticeable. They may not notice your softer skin, but they will probably notice your nipples. Just kind of poke it out. But so another thing for going full time is, you came out to people, you've started to experience body changes. The next thing for me was voice work. And so I didn't want to sound like a boy while I looked like a girl. Um, and so I made it my mission to tune my voice up a little higher. It's still obviously not perfect, but it's a lot more comfortable for me than it was. And that takes a lot of time. So the earlier you start, the better. It's definitely really frustrating. It's probably the most frustrating thing that I've dealt with since starting transitioning, because it is so daunting. And like when you finally feel comfortable at it, somebody like misgenders you, and you're like, oh, I gotta start all over. Like, what did I do wrong? Like, why did they notice? You know, like it's very dysphoria inducing, you know, like it makes you feel uncomfortable to constantly have to do this. Um, and then the next step is like wardrobe. Like, you probably don't have a lot of girl clothes prior to transitioning, and that's something that costs a lot of money. And so to replace everything, there will be things that you wear, you know, before you go full time that kind of take baby steps into it. I had a lot of like girl cut shirts, so like I had more of like a figure shaping shirt and stuff like that, and I kind of wore the same outfits over and over until I like could fully buy, you know, some girl clothes, and I'm still working on that. It's very expensive. Um, but that's definitely one of the most expensive parts of transitioning, and it can be pretty daunting to find your style. And as your body changes, your style has to change. Like for me, a lot of my clothes are very slim fitting, and so when I get my breast augmentation, a lot of things will probably not fit anymore. And so I'm very worried that I'll have to redo my entire wardrobe because of that. So it's like an ever changing thing, and yeah, it can be overwhelming. Definitely, clothes can be overwhelming, and so let's talk about general aesthetic also. Makeup is something that going full time can or can't, you know, make a big impact on you. Some people don't need a lot of makeup. Some people don't want to wear a lot of makeup, and some people want to wear a lot of makeup, and some people may need a lot of makeup. You know, like we all look different. There are plenty of cis women who vary, you know, some wear makeup, some wear lots of makeup, some wear no makeup. And that's kind of important to figure out for yourself. You know, like for me, I don't really feel like I need a lot of makeup. And if I put on more makeup, it draws more attention to me because of that. So me just painting my eyes makes me feel more comfortable and makes me feel like pretty, and not like I need to do a whole lot. And that can be the case for other people. It can, you know, it's just a personal preference of mine. Hair is very, very difficult and very, very daunting. And so for me, like right now, I just have mine like pulled up in a little bun thing. But like learning little things like that, just how to throw it up real fast, or like how to do a cute ponytail, or like how to style bangs, or whatever, like I still struggle with like curling my hair, and like I can straighten it. I've straightened it since high school, you know, like that was my thing. But like curling and waves and all this stuff is like so much. Braiding is another one. Braiding is very, very, very difficult. And I had no idea. Like any girl with like braids, I was like, wow, that's so pretty. But I never expected like the work that actually it takes to put into that to make good braids and to do it yourself. It's so hard. Um, but that's, you know, as you transition, you kind of work on lots of little things that become one big thing, and that's who you are. And it takes, you know, like this and this and this and this to be yourself and to feel comfortable. And if you lack, you kind of start noticing later, like, oh, I've missed this. You know, if I learned hair and wardrobe and um, I don't know, like voice work and stuff, if I learned all of that, but I didn't learn, you know, my makeup, that's gonna stick out like a sore thumb. Like, oh, like she looks good head to toe, but she forgot to learn how to do makeup. um, and that can cause you some stress. And it's good to learn everything. The next is like legal changes. And so with socially transitioning, you know, like say with your work or whatever, you're going to need to do some legal work. And for me, like I had to do, I had to get my birth certificate changed. Once I got that done, then I could move on to my social security card. Once I got my social security card changed, I moved on to my driver's license. And now, like, my name is legally updated, my gender is legally updated. And just a fair warning, I found out the hard way today that that will bite you in the butt. um, it always comes back. I recently got a job at Starbucks, so now I have two jobs. Yay. And I had a lady call me today about a background check, and she was like really confused. She was like, "So it looks like you went by a different name." And I was like, oh, is this always going to be prevalent? Like, is this always going to be here? Like, I don't plan on, like, always having that attached to me. You know, like, it's not who I am. It was who I was, but it's not like I had a choice. You know, like, it's unfortunate that that's constantly following me. So yeah, you'll need to get like your name updated, your gender updated. Some people are really picky about that one. In Georgia, I know they're really picky, but my endocrinologist told me that not everybody needs surgery, not everybody wants surgery, and so to be denied your gender update because you don't want to have your your bottom surgery, it's kind of fucked up. It's kind of messed up. Excuse the cursing. I did not mean to say that. Um, bleep. I don't know how to edit, so that's gonna be fun. Um, but it's an issue, you know. And for me, like I've had surgeries in the past and stuff, but not specifically for the trans thing. Um, but anyway, so I got sidetracked. That's it's a big step to get everything legally changed over, and that can be a really big part of socially transitioning. If people still call you by your old boy name or your old girl name, you know, prior to transitioning, that can cause you a lot of stress, and it takes a lot of time. I think it took me a total of like 2 or 3 months to get everything finalized and finished, and to where, you know, I could go in and get ID'd somewhere and not be like super concerned about my safety or just general fear. Another thing is dating. Dating can be a process for sure. So, you know, once you have everything kind of put together, and you know, you may feel the need to like put yourself out there. Some people do it before, some people wait even longer. For me, I put myself out there right as I started to go full time. Like I could put my hair in a ponytail. I started to look feminine, so I felt as though, you know, I could be seen as a girl in the public eye. And so I started dating. Um, I only ever had two, and one was a complete flop. Um, the guy was really gross, and I was totally not interested, and he was very interested, so red flags. I was like, I think I'll pass. But you know, you get to the point where you start dating, and people, they kind of pick two different paths. So one path is like fetishizing you, and you know, expecting all of these things that are typical of trans people. They think, oh, like stereotypical, I should say. Um, they want their trans women to be a certain kind of woman for them, a certain kind of way, and there are a lot of us who are dysphoric about that kind of stuff, and that's obviously a no-go. And there are also people who see you as your true self and admire you for your strength and your beauty. And for me, my first date went this way. And as soon as it started going that way, I was like, no, I'm gonna cut this off. I'm done with it. It's not necessary. Um, you know, it. Some people are into that. Some people transition for that. Some people transition for themselves and also are okay with being fetishized and being a different kind of girl. Like, that's perfectly fine. I'm not saying anything against that. But for me, I don't see myself as that, and I don't feel comfortable doing those types of things. And I, it just, you know, anytime that was ever like, it would come up, it just wasn't right. And um, I met somebody who sees me as a girl and sees me as a beautiful girl and thinks the world of me, and wants nothing more than to just hang out with me and grow old with me and stand beside me. And that was the biggest like reassurance of my life, was that I always had this fear of rejection and fear of not being enough, and still it comes back. Still at times there are times where I'm overwhelmed with being different and not quite being right for the person that I'm with, and that's okay. Every girl, every partner deals with that in some way or another, and for me this is just a part of who I am, and it's like fearful of not being enough, and that's okay. um, but you can still be loved just how you are, and you know whether you want surgeries or not, whether you feel the need for that, like, there are people out there who will stand beside you and take care of you and love you unconditionally. And so the last little bit of topic, sorry, it's really early, my throat's super sore. um should probably drink more water. um the last little bit is just being natural, being yourself. And once you have worked on everything or not, you know maybe you were already very naturally feminine before. For me, I had to not necessarily alter who I was, but to really, like, I spent so long building up a wall of who I am as a boy, and creating this persona of not feeling natural, and portraying something to the world that was how they saw me. You kind of have to tear that down brick by brick and rebuild it, um, and it takes a while. But once you get there, it's just who you are. What you build up now is so much more natural and so much more comfortable, and you really get to show your true self to the world. The people who saw me before now see a brighter, happier person because of how much I've grown and how much more positive I am. And I just get to share that with the world. It's pretty astounding. um, but anyway, that covers my going full-time video. If you like what you see, feel free to like and subscribe. I will gladly do more videos. The next video is going to be a big one. The next video I plan on doing body changes, and I don't want to like parade my body or like show it off or anything, but I do want to show how much my body has changed, from going from male to female, and like how the curves have changed and stuff. I'm still by no means like, a bombshell or anything, but I definitely am a lot more feminine than I was as a male, and it hasn't even been 2 years yet. So I do want to share that with you guys, because that was a big thing for me. Transitioning was like, well, is my body gonna look feminine? And for the most part, yes, it does. But there are things that it can't change, and I want to go over that too. So if you want to see that video, feel free to like and subscribe because it will be showing up. So thank you all for watching. Bye.